Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. We are the Mile High Property Brothers. Today's super fun, getting right into it. We're talking about everything you need to know when it comes to living in Littleton, Colorado.
That's right, in 2023.
Oh, sorry.
Let's check it out, guys. What's up, guys? I'm Eli Schmidt. This is my partner, Will Grimes. Appreciate you checking out our channel. And while you're here, guys, hit that subscribe button because we post a new one of these every Tuesday and every Thursday. We tell you everything there is to know about living or moving to the entire Denver, Colorado area.
100%. And we're licensed brokers here in the state of Colorado, which means just as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with those real estate needs. So number that's popping up below. We are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So if we can help you, we would love to. But with that being said, let's talk about 2023 and everything you need to know when it comes to living in Littleton. And before we get to that, yes, I'm in the same shirt as the last video because if you guys watched the end of the last video, you guys know any moment now we're having our next son, our newborn baby boy, Cameron Lane. He's due any hour now. So we are trying to make sure we keep content to you guys as consistent as possible, as relevant as possible. And sometimes that means we got to record back to back. So I'm in my baby boy birth shirt.
There you go.
Any hour now. So if you guys notice I'm in the same shirt, yes, we're just trying to prepare as best as possible. Appreciate the support.
Diving into it, guys, let's start off with one of the first things you need to know, which where the heck is Littleton? Okay, so Littleton is a suburb, a city.
Listen, if Denver was a clock, if Denver was a clock and Denver's in the center of the clock, Littleton is like 6 o'clock.
There we go.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Saves time.
Continuing with my point here, Littleton is a city and suburb on the southwest side of Denver, Colorado. Pretty small city population-wise. You're looking at about 50,000. However, I feel like the landscape of Littleton is actually much bigger than you would think because it also kind of runs into Highlands Ranch and almost Lone Tree, which is just south of that. It runs pretty far west out into the foothills as well. Now, diving in a little bit more as far as the types of homes that you can find out in Littleton, there's got to be a variety, but for the most part, you're looking at homes that were built in the 50s to 70s. And because Littleton is one of our older cities that we have here, there's not a whole ton of new builds that are happening out there.
Correct. And just to correct myself, it's more like 8 o'clock. Not 6
there we
o'clock.
go.
More like 8 o'clock, but it's just to give some reference, right? So if Denver is the center of a clock, right, you've got I-25 that goes 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, straight through the city. Littleton is just off of 470, right around like that 8 o'clock. Amazing area. You've got Roxborough Park.
Yes.
That's out there. You definitely want to know as far as like just your landscape out there in the national parks you guys are minutes from, where you guys can take your dogs, you guys can go on bike rides. One of the biggest benefits and biggest reasons why people live out there, in addition to, I'll just go ahead and throw our second one in there, you got to know, it's never spoken about as much, even from us, but Littleton School District.
Yes.
Really good. Really? In the top 5 consistently for Colorado school districts. And just to let you guys know, Colorado as a whole, our school districts are very good. It's very competitive out here as far as education. We take a lot of pride in that in Colorado. So if you're in the top 3 to 5 consistently, you are doing really well. So for the national parks you get, for the landscape you get, and having those school districts out there, man, it's just a great place to not overlook just because it's a little bit older than some of our other new growing cities.
Yes, and speaking to the heart of Littleton, which call it, downtown and the surrounding areas, there is a really amazing sense of community there. Like I said before, you've got the historic downtown Littleton area, which you're gonna have farmers markets every Saturday during the summertime. You've got a lot of other events that are always kind of happening. And again, with that historic downtown area just being such a good central hub to the Denver metro area as a whole, it's not uncommon that you're having a lot of people from other cities coming to Littleton during the weekends to experience those things along with you.
Not only that, but they also come for the breweries. You've got a couple large Breckenridge breweries out there, but a couple large breweries out in Old Town Littleton, which are amazing, a lot of fun to go to. You do get like the commute from like weekend travelers that like to come in. What I do like about Littleton is whether you're going down into the heart of the city or if you're gonna go southeast toward I-25 to take you down toward Castle Rock or Colorado Springs, you do have a couple entry points into Littleton off of Santa Fe. So even when there's traffic on Santa Fe, because you've got a couple of different options as far as commute wise, you're not necessarily overly bogged down. Like when we talk about Boulder, there's kind of like one way in and one way out with Boulder. So you're kind of just stuck with what you got depending on the time, but Littleton, you do have a little bit more access.
That is a really good point. And just to add a little bit more to that, again, whether maybe you're living in or working, in downtown Denver, Littleton is a phenomenal option because like Will said, you can just take Highway 85, which is Santa Fe, straight up north to Denver, and you don't even need to get on the main highway of I-25.
Right.
Or if you're working down south, like near Parker or Castle Rock, just taking that same road south. It's super easy getting in and out of there.
Now, something to consider, we also have a flood zone in Littleton. Now, just giving you some history on that, it hasn't flooded in like 200 years, but because it was a flood zone at one time, insurance still considers it like a flood zone, even though a lot of irrigation or just mitigation has happened to change waterways to make sure that that old flood zone does not become a new flood zone.
Yes.
That stuff has been mitigated. However, depending on the pocket of Littleton you're in, you might be considered in a flood zone, which not that we're so concerned of it flooding, but it costs a little bit more on your insurance.
Yes.
So when we're going over homes and looking at areas, we definitely want to pay attention to the 1 or 2 flood zones that are out there. Again, not because your house is going to flood, but making sure that we're getting a quote on your insurance and seeing what that looks like in addition to your mortgage, and just making sure that bang for buck on that house specifically, you're in it for that. We got to consider the total price that you're all in on. And resell, we got to make sure that, hey, when we're reselling it, consumers also look at that stuff. So does that hinder our resale ability a little bit? Yes, not uber bad, but again, something to consider depending on where you're at.
That is a really good point, and those pockets are going to be very, very, very limited. It's going to be these homes surrounding the canal that is out there on like the north and the south side of that. But again, very limited, but it still is a really good point because the last thing you want to do is get all the way, under contract on a home and then find out that flood insurance.
Right, something else to consider, Littleton is not overly growing. You're kind of surrounded by some national parks. So Littleton's a little limited on how much it can grow. I think Littleton as a city doesn't want to overly grow. That's amazing if you want to keep some things limited as far as like just overall population, people coming in. If you want it a little bit more peaceful and quiet, you're closer to the mountains versus like Castle Rock, growing, commercial, amazing, awesome. Some people don't like it. A lot of people appreciate it. Aurora, it's got some commercial, it's got some growth to it all the way out toward the airport. Littleton's not heading in that direction. They do have new builds. They're limited. They don't do a ton like they do in Castle Rock or in Southeast Aurora. But again, it's something to consider, even though like you'll see some similarities landscape-wise from a lot of areas that we cover. Littleton's probably one of the closest ones that's going to keep its integrity to what it is, more so than some of the other ones that are just growing a lot quicker.
You've got 2 bigger state parks that are down there. You've got Roxborough State Park, you've got Chatfield Reservoir, which is another state park. Both of those extremely popular. Roxborough has by far the best hiking and the best views of like kind of the Red Rock Flatiron things that they have out there. It's
By things we mean mountains.
You're looking at a picture of it right now. No, they're not mountains.
Oh, they're just things.
Yeah, they are.
They're just things. Take it from a native.
It might be a mountain.
Huge rocks in the ground.
Yes. Yeah, to make it a mountain.
Let's call it rock formation.
I like that. Okay, we can agree on that. Rock formation.
Eli
I like it.
approves.
I like it. Eli approves. And then you've got Chatfield State Park, which is very, very popular for boating here in Colorado. That's extremely popular, whether it's your jet ski, your pontoon boat, your speedboat, whatever that is, or you just want to go out there and do some fishing. They've got a little beach out there, which is really cool. It's also extremely popular for camping. And it's a really good blend of, hey, you want to get in the RV or the tent and go out for the weekend, but not necessarily go deep into the mountains. Chatfield is a great option for those type of
if you're living there, you're probably enjoying that stuff on a weekly basis because your proximity to it. A lot of folks that live in Littleton, because you are so close to the mountains, on the weekends you're getting out and you're venturing out of Littleton as itself, right? So I don't think the tourist attraction and the increase over the weekends or holiday weekends really hurt you, because a lot of you are just taking advantage of the mountains, not the things. But the mountains, right? So is it going to affect you as far as like breweries and different stuff? I think you guys are going to be enjoying the mountains, not the things. So I think you're gonna dodge some of that, but again, between great school districts, breweries, and some nightlife, you still have some commercial and grocery stores, so it's convenience, but their growth is very paced, very composed. So if you're appreciating things like that, overall, Littleton might be one that gets overlooked, but maybe shouldn't be, because a lot of folks that see Castle Rock and Southeast Aurora with us, based off their demeanor, what they're looking for, we tend to shed light on some Littleton for them, and they end up really, really, really enjoying it. So if you guys haven't checked that out yet, and you're checking it out through our channel, then contact us, all right? And as a reminder, yes, just as much as we love making these videos, we love helping you with those real estate needs, because we are licensed brokers here in Colorado, and that number that's popping up below are the guys showing us phone calls, text messages, and emails. So whether we can help you with Littleton and showing you some of that, or something else, man, it's definitely one that you got to turn the stone on and take a look at before you exit off of your list. Enjoy the things.
Yes, enjoy
the mountains.
Great.
We will and enjoy your weekend.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys very soon.
See you guys.